Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Abdullah. I'm from English Education Department, Class A. So today I will present about my presentation of my article by the title Listening Comprehension Problems and Speaking Ability any foreign language student from Senior High School of Australia. About myself, I am from the law and there is my student number. Okay. So for the first point, I will answer and explain my proposal about. So the goal of the study is to look at the issue of the understanding and see if there is a relationship between student assessment of their listening and speaking abilities. As usual, when they learn English material, they can apply this element rather than just finishing or translating every word and sentence. Reading, speaking, writing, and listening are all know the elements. Listening and speaking skills are essential for effective communication and understanding among people. Uh, we quick example like what we heard is not always accurate when we say it already done on paper. So next, and the method that will be used later by means of the research with a quantitative method called by person pada moment. Because listening and speaking tests were included, this was to be intended and be a correlation study, and this strategy was used to collect data at Islamic Senior High School in Palangkaraya, where every student in one class, there are 34 or 36 in one class. And I hope that the finding of this finding study will help teachers motivate their students to improve listening and speaking skills, as well as provide input to create opportunities and diligent curriculum and teachers who want to solve the problem of listening comprehension, particularly of English foreign language level students. So, and the research took place at senior high school are illustrated because this point, 2 points. The first point, they frequently to overlook of the importance of listening in teaching learning process. And second is the research sample to students from grade 10 to 12 senior high school. Okay, let's discuss. The first point is the reason because you're lacking a proper method and their action when they're developing. They have difficulty uh, action of developing listening skill and frequent makes error when spelling but of them. And it was for this reason that I decided to conduct this study on learner listening issue. The second is because I will attack samples of 4 classes from 6 different majors, and it will select 12 students at random of various classes in 2 ways. The first is that the sampling method is similar The second was used to assess their ability to communicate. But listening and listening tests were focused on these functions and understanding on language. So next point uh, is why I make this proposal or this article. So here I will explain in two ways. Their previous research, or we say dalil nakli, and second explain is common sense, or we say is dalil akli. And then it was and way how to conduct about the research. Okay, first is previous research, or dalil nakli. Yeah. Okay. According Jeremy Hammer, 1991, page 181, in his book by the title The Practice of English Language Teaching for editions published on August 30, 2007, he said the roots can be used to demonstrate word stress. Roots can be used to teach word precision. Teacher can model of the root sentence like one is on the top of beside, under, over, behind, other, the green one. They can show the root in different relative position and ask students to describe them in ever more complex arrangements. Next reasons that in some previous research is listening requires active participation since listener must cope with as much meaning as possible during process. So what this means? This means that many kinds may be able to comprehend the meaning of spoken language better than they can practice. Students who listen carefully will offer some response indicating that they understand the speaker when saying, allowing the conversation to continue. Students who do not have adequate listening skills, on the other hand, will lead the conversation to become stuck because why they are unable to listen effectively enough to respond to the speaker. What makes this common sense is dalil nakli. Okay? Listening requires active participation because the listener must address the meaning as much as possible during the process. Is like previous topic, they are correct. They are one connection. Okay, students who pay attention will respond in a way that show that they understand what the speaker is saying. Following the conversation is continuing. On the other hand, students who do not have adequate listening skill will the conversation because they are unable to listen effectively enough to respond to the speaker. It is not the same as written language. It is not the same as reading and writing. Writing language requires that the entire speech be contained within a single sentence, otherwise fragments and other error will result. Okay, question number 3. I will answer. I mean, that is The reason I make this article to the quantitative proposal first is from the title to compare two skills between to understand listening and understanding speech to contribute for improving the quality of English learning. Many researchers and teachers always work hard to observe and expose the language that involves many perspectives itself. This perspective can be involved with aspect of language, interlanguage aspect, teaching method, and language learning. All are shown to help between the learning and student to improve excellent result in classroom teaching and learning session. And we all know how important skills are in learning for research and practice skills in English language teaching has identified it. Listening, speaking, reading, and writing as very important for learner. No, okay. Next, the second is quantitative method called person product moment in the study. According to finding, the means of listening skill score is 64. The pupil assignment in speaking test is a given score of 58. The person product moment result of 0.66 indicated that the finding was significant. RO is greater than RT is like 0.66 more than 0.393. Since the score significance between one person is 0.393. As a result, alternative hypothesis is ruled out. Okay, and this is about my article of my proposal quantitative. You can see this is the title, and then an abstract and keyword introductions and listening, comprehension and listening. They are uh, explanation more and so speaking also and research method. They are participant population sample or instrument overuse the listening comprehension processing problem expressioner of LCCQ adequate content, yeah, and third is data collection procedure and data analyze procedure and so reference at least only 5 or 6 reference they are available from 2016 and 2019 from Scopus and 2010 till 2002. Okay. And how about turning result? Okay. It is my turning result. 21% is similarity index, 18% internet sources, 13% from publication, 6% from student paper. So many very much from academic publication. There are 12%, yeah, internet sources, journal RTACID, the fourth person, and the other is only one person. Yes, you can see. Okay. Okay. So maybe enough for me. Thank you so much for your attention. The last I said, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.